Hello, everyone. Yuval Teren is here, a communication coach and human analyst. And we are here with Analia Salomon, amazing yoga instructor, just came back from Bali from special yoga training. And she has over 500 hours of yoga teacher training. And she's already 3 years into yoga instruction, having her own classes. She's teaching yoga. She's helping people become the best version of themselves by improving their own body, working with their body soul connection. I think also we're going to dive into that in a
Definitely.
bit. So Analia, I'm very excited for you to be on the show. Hello.
Thank you. Hello, Yuval. Oh my gosh, it's so nice to see you again after so many years, and
It
I'm
is.
honored to be a guest on your podcast today.
I'm honored for you to be on the podcast today. So I want the listeners to know you a little bit better. So can you share with us a little bit of what are you currently doing with your yoga life? And then we're gonna dive deeper. So the idea of the show, we learn a little bit what you do right now in the present, and we're gonna track back to your life and see what led you into making those certain decisions that led you into your present life.
Beautiful. Okay. Well, currently I live in Houston, Texas. I actually moved to Houston very recently. I graduated from the University of Texas at Austin in December and immediately was like, now's the time to go get my 300-hour certification. And I went to Bali, Indonesia, and then came back and moved to Houston, Texas, where I'm, you know, working on launching more yoga classes and establishing myself in a brand new community. So it's all very new, very exciting, and I'm just look forward to hopefully cultivating a community of my own. I really appreciated the yoga community in Austin, and it gave me so much. So if I can give back and like create a space for people to explore who they are and embrace healthy practices, like that's my thing.
That's amazing. So I know there are like different types of yoga styles, right? Can you share with us a little bit of what styles did you learn, did you practice, and what styles do you teach also others, and a little bit about yoga? What is it? Because I'm sure when people
Yeah.
hear yoga, we have in mind like people uh trying to be
Doing
more flexible, but I'm
gymnastics.
sure there
Yeah.
is I'm sure there is deeper, I know there is a deeper meaning into that. So I would love you to dive a little bit into the world of yoga and share with us a little bit the background, shortly a little bit about what is yoga and your specific style that you learn. What is it?
Yeah. I would love to. So yoga, what is yoga, is definitely so much more than just stretching your body, than working out, doing a handstand. Like, that's just scratching the surface. There's 8 whole limbs of yoga, and it's a practice for a healthy life and a life of happiness and peace. So the 8 limbs of yoga are the yamas, which is like standards of how you relate to others and the world around you. The niyamas, which is how you relate to yourself, like standards for how you conduct yourself. Um, Asana is the third, which is what most people are familiar with, the physical practice. And then fourth is pranayama. Um, and everything's in order because it prepares you for the next step. So we do the asana to prepare our body and our mind for pranayama, which is breath work, focusing on the breath, and energy. Prana means energy. So pranayama, it's like energy work. Breath work is energy work. If that makes sense. Next is pratyahara, number 5, which is withdrawal of the senses. Just like looking inward, tuning out your senses. We kind of get that in Shavasana and certain yoga poses. Like there's this one pose where you go from plow pose, like you take your feet over your head and then you squeeze your ears with your knees, and it literally blocks out the world. That's my favorite.
Sounds very no.
It's not. It's a very advanced posture. It requires a lot of flexibility in your back, and yeah, it's keep practicing and keep going down the path so that you can get to number 6, which is so pratyahara. Yes, dharana, which is concentration work. So maybe you do trataka, which is a form of meditation where you focus on a flickering candle. That's just one example of concentration, but you can, do a body scan or a breath awareness meditation where you're just like keeping your awareness on your breath. You're concentrating on just one thing and everything else just dissolves. And then by doing dharana, you're preparing yourself for dhyana. And dharana is very effortful to concentrate. It takes a lot of effort. But dhyana is effortlessness. So dhyana translates to meditation. And meditation is supposed to just be this effortless being. It's just like your true soul nature. And then, true soul nature could also be the 8th limb of yoga, which is samadhi, also known as bliss. And that's just the total dissolution of the ego, the union. Yoga translates to union. So the union of the individual consciousness with the universal consciousness is one way to think of what is yoga. Yoga is union. It's, dissolving all these illusions and barriers and separations.
Wow, that's beautiful. So definitely, I think the listeners can learn now that it's much deeper than just being flexible. It's so what I hear from you, it's also you train yourself to be more focused, more present in the moment.
Yeah.
You focus to connect with yourself more. So how does it work? Through body exercise? I'm not sure if it's the right way to call it, but through our body, we can connect with our spiritual side, our deeper self.
For sure.
That's what
I think you're totally spot on. The body is one avenue to connect to the deeper layers of ourself. In fact, in yoga, there's a whole system. Just like there's the 8 limbs, there's the Panchamaya koshas, which is like the 5 different like layers of the body. And the first layer is the physical body, also known as like the food body. And then, so you start with that. Everything is like dependent on a change in one step or in one layer of yourself will like automatically affect all the other ones. So we have the physical body, and then deeper than that is the energy body. So if we get our physical body like totally aligned, then that can give us access to our energetic body. According to this system, there are people that believe in a different order. So I'll just go through all 5. It's the physical body, the energetic body, the mental body, physical, energetic, mental, wisdom body, and bliss body. And they become more and more subtle. And so yoga, you're attuning yourself to, I guess, more subtler parts of yourself. Like the physical sensation is not very subtle, our core hurts when we're doing crunches, but maybe
that's for sure. I've participated in one of your classes in Texas, and first of all, it was amazing. I felt amazing after. It was like a very, very welcoming experience, I would say. Like, even if it wasn't, even if I'm not like familiar with yoga, it was very easy for me to connect and to go into the different exercises, different yoga positions, and the idea behind it. It has a lot of like deep meaning, real deep connection. So I definitely understand what you're talking about. So first of all, if our listeners haven't tried yoga yet. So
Yoga, yo.
try yoga, that's for sure. And if you're in Texas, so find Analia and join our classes because it is amazing. Um,
Follow me on
but
Instagram at
yes,
underscore Analia. And
underscore Analia.
yes, I teach in person if you're in Texas, but this year, New Year's resolution is to add some like live streaming, online options, just to make it more accessible. And I hope I can be a welcoming teacher to anyone that's like wanting to try something new, to explore deeper parts of themselves and connect not just to themselves, but to like a true community. Because that's
That's for
one
sure.
reason I keep coming back to yoga. I mean, the spiritual, physical benefits are amazing, but the community that it gives you, like you really connect with people that are on the same wavelength and like think about similar things, lead their lives in a similar way, in a mindful way. So that's very motivating for me.
So if we look at yoga, what do you think is the reason that people should try it out? Like, what's the purpose? For example, if I'm interested in doing yoga, what are my, like, why would I go into yoga? Like, what's the idea behind it? What would I improve in myself, or what would I, uh, who am I gonna be after trying yoga, or who am
Oh
I
my gosh.
aiming to be after trying yoga?
After trying yoga, I think hopefully you'll become someone that's interested in yoga, and then that interest can lead you down a path of, you know, continuing to practice because yoga is a practice more than it is anything else. And there's no end goal of yoga. There's no like becoming a professional yogi. I mean, some people like obviously make their livelihood through yoga, but they're always a student first. In in my opinion, is like you're always a student first and then a teacher. So to just I guess the goal of yoga is to be a student of yoga. But if you're talking
Always to be a student of yoga.
always to be a
Doesn't
student
matter what level.
of life. Yeah,
Wow.
exactly.
That's a beautiful idea. You know, I think our listeners and everyone should pay attention to that. It's beautiful because we are all, sometimes we come into a new place or a new adventure with the idea that we know it all. But I think realizing that the world has so many things that we haven't experienced and also something that we experienced already can be seen from different angles. And each time, I'm sure each time, so for example, when I speak and I lecture, I have different lectures, but if people see same lecture, they can see it from different angles. And also for me, if I go see something, if I go experience yoga class or doesn't matter what, I can experience it from different angles. So it's always to come as a student, be open to learn, be able. So it's an amazing mindset to have, and I think very important for our own development, because when we look at life from a student perspective, we are always learning, developing ourselves. So it's beautiful. So I want to track back a little bit to your let's go to your childhood experience.
Yeah.
And learn about Analia. Did you used to do yoga in your childhood? When did you experience it for the first time? When did you learn about it? How did you got into being a yoga instructor?
Yeah.
So where does it all start?
Oh my gosh. It's kind of a long journey, me and yoga. I think I was first exposed to it when I was in like second or third grade, like
Oh wow!
9 years old, and but not in a very intense way. Like I was at Girl Scout camp. I was a Girl Scout and went to camp, and they had yoga as one of the electives. So I knew that my mom had done yoga before, and she seemed to like it. So I was like definitely intrigued, and I took the yoga class. And after they told us like do yoga before bed, you'll sleep better, all this stuff, and I I do have a vivid memory of me like doing tree pose in the cabin before bed, like with my eyes closed and just like being in the yoga zone and loving it, like literally loving it. And people thinking I was a little weird, but I didn't really care. And So that was the first exposure. And then I came back to it in high school. I kind of like forgot about it because you're 9, you go live your life, whatever, be a free child. You don't want that discipline. You're not really motivated by it. But I came back probably when I was 15. I was a cross country runner, and um, I've also had, this is kind of important to the backstory, is like I've had chronic pain for a lot of my life, like in my back and hips, and just I was constantly in pain. So I kind of turned to yoga as like a way to heal my physical pain and just like feel more ease in my body. And because I was running probably like 40 miles a week for cross country, and it was very intense. Yeah, it was very intense, and I was already having pain and then also like exhausting my body. And yoga is both strengthening and restorative, and so I would go, like, this kind of became a thing I would do. I would buy like an unlimited month in the summertime, like in the month of August during preseason, and I would go to cross country, go to yoga after every single day. And I had never felt better in my life. Like, I had never felt better energy, like both physically and emotionally and mentally too. Like, I felt like it made me sharper. But then, of course, school would start up again and I would not make it to the studio. Yeah, it kind of was this on and off thing. And every time you take time away from yoga, it becomes much more difficult. And if you take a lot of time off, like, this is why I understand why people, like, they try yoga and they're like, oh, I don't know if it's for me. Because, like, yoga hurts. When you are a beginner, it can be very painful, or like, not painful, but uncomfortable in the body. You're doing things you don't usually do, and maybe you're comparing yourself and wanting to push yourself to get into a position that you see someone else in. You're like, oh, I can do that too. And then you're totally ignoring your body's cues to get a certain appearance. But anyways, sidetrack. But it was
I think
right?
I think it can teach us also, like, that in life we always do things that are uncomfortable for us. And I think, to be honest, if you're gonna look at all of the people that succeeded following their dreams, succeeded doing the things that they want in life, they did like their own personal success. And each person, we all do it. We all have personal successes, and we always reach our goals. We have some long-term goals, short-term goals, but we reach goals. Everyone, every one of our listeners, and everyone in the world, we're all humans. We're all capable of it, and we're all doing it. But we have to be aware of it. But also, the idea is that if we want to reach goals that maybe are bigger sometime, we have to go out of our comfort zone. We have to feel, maybe we're going to feel a little bit of pain, but it's a temporary one until we become more flexible. So yoga, I think, teaches us a lot of the mindset of how we should behave in life. So
I
feel
agree.
temporary to feel better for the long term. So your
Yeah.
body stretches, your body becomes better. Your body is, you connect with your body and you're more aware of yourself. So it's beautiful. It gives us the nice mindset, the yoga mindset, we're going to call it, the yoga mindset to life.
Yeah.
So it's beautiful.
Change is uncomfortable. Like, change is uncomfortable, but that's how you make progress in anything. And you're so right. Like, yeah, the
What
lessons you learn on the yoga mat transcend just the studio. And I feel like I can personally say, like, it's made me stronger in the other aspects of my life, in school and professionally, in my relationships, in relating to my own emotions as well. Like, it's such a good regulatory tool. Like, for some people, I definitely wasn't always like the most zen person ever, but now I feel like I don't really get stressed out. Like I see my stress and I can sit with it, and I can relate to it on a much more, like, I I'm the observer. I am not the emotion. I'm not the feeling, I'm not the thought, I'm just the observer. of those thoughts and feelings. And, I can choose how I want to proceed from that. And that's very
Oh,
empowering.
wow, that's an interesting idea. I'm the observer of my own thoughts and feelings. So the idea is like I observe, so I have many thoughts in my life. I have many every day. I have many thoughts, many
But
ideas, many
none of them are
feelings.
me.
None of them are you. So you observe them and then you accept whichever ones you like, or you just let them flow.
You
So
kind of
so
let them flow.
let them
Like,
flow around.
yeah. Like
Nice.
it's non-attachment. Non-attachment is like a huge thing for yoga. It's just, and in Buddhism as well, they say the root of all suffering is attachment. And I mean, I would have to agree, because when you are not attached to any outcome, to any, this should be this way, this should be this way, when you let go of all that and just accept what is in front of you, then you're truly being present. And when you're truly being present, then you can, like, enjoy your life, first of all, and also live your best life. Like, obviously, you should still think long term and have goals for yourself. Like, we do live in a modern society, and this is something that I, feel like a lot of yogis have to reconcile, is like the urge to, be so non-attached, and then like the desire to be a part of the world. Like, you have to be grounded in all chakras, including the root chakra. Um, but that's a whole other point.
Wow, that's beautiful. Um, so you started saying, speaking about COVID, what happened from COVID during COVID.
Yeah,
So let's keep on with the story.
let's
Let's
keep it rolling.
dive deeper. Yeah. So what
Okay,
happened during COVID? Yeah.
so during COVID, the whole world shut down, and I was much more sedentary, and also stressed out, which was always like kind of a trigger for my chronic pain. Was whenever I would be stressed out and maybe not moving enough, I would just like feel so in pain. And now I have a little more knowledge, and I think it is connected to having hypermobility in the body. Um, but that's another point. Anyways, but yeah, during COVID, I was like, I need to do something about this pain. I need to get some exercise, but all the gyms are closed, and like we're locked down in our home. So I got this like yoga app that was an AI generated yoga class. Like, you put in the amount of time you want to practice, the style you want to do, the accent of the instructor, whatever you want, and you just like, it tells you what to do. So I started out with just doing 15 minutes a day, and like at first that was kind of hard. Like, my mind was just always elsewhere. There was so much to think about, I was in a very intense academic program at the moment, and feeling isolated, and just, it was such a hard time. And I just, the one promise I kept to myself at the time was like, okay, I'm just going to use this yoga app every single day. 15 minutes is enough. Like, maybe I'll add 5 minutes every day. And I started building it up, and I kept the promise, and I kept building it up. And I noticed my mind starting to quiet down. I noticed myself starting to enjoy the practice more, starting to lose track of time. At first, I was like literally checking the time after like 10 minutes. I'm like, oh my God, is it over yet? But yeah, I started learning how to be immersed in the flow, syncing breath to movement, really feeling the benefits in my body and mind. Um, and that was very motivating to me. And yeah, I lived in a cooperative at the time. I still have like part of it isolated, and then I moved back into my house because there was like an outbreak in the house. So I left, and then I came back, and I started teaching to my housemate, which was honestly so lucky, like that I had, I think, 15 housemates at the time, and I started just teaching like open yoga classes, meditation groups, and just like creating a space where we could be mindful and yeah, take care of ourselves, Like, I got really into promoting self-care within my community through that, and I was just chugging along doing my degree, and all of the classes were online, and I found out that all the classes were going to be online for one more semester. And I knew I couldn't go that long without human connection. I was really feeling the yoga thing, which led me to enroll in a 200-hour yoga teacher training at a studio not far from my house. And I did night school so I could do it while still in university, twice a week for 4 hours a night. And with it came an unlimited yoga pass. So I totally embraced the opportunity, and I was doing yoga 3 times a day, studying all the texts, practice teaching with my housemates. I was like, yes, I was still a student of the University of Texas, but like my mind was and my heart was really just totally immersed in this practice. And I just felt like more myself than I had ever felt. And we're also doing this all while wearing masks, by the way. So I was in a hot yoga studio 3 times a day with the mask on. It made my lungs so strong to maintain my breath doing that, I think.
Wow, I can only imagine.
Yeah, yeah, I can only imagine too. I luckily don't have to do that anymore. So, yeah, but then, oh my God, I finished the program. It ended in June, started January to June, 6-month program. And I lined it up. I've been talking about it so much with like everyone I met. Yeah, I've been this yoga teacher training. It's like the best thing ever. And I connected with someone in the Jewish community who told me about Green Family Camp, this summer camp that has a yoga instructor every year. And I was like, well, that sounds perfect. And they start right after my program ends. So I took this job teaching at a summer camp, teaching kids yoga for 2 months. And that's where I met Yuval, the amazing, inspirational presence that is Yuval. How do you say your last name?
Teren.
Teren. Okay. Yuval Teren.
With the American accent.
Yeah, but that's not how you say it from birth, is it?
If you want to hear it with the Hebrew accent, it's Yuval Teren.
Yuval Teren.
Yes, nice.
So I met this amazing person. He was teaching magic and I was teaching yoga in literally the middle of nowhere, like this tiny town called Bruceville, Eddy, Texas. And we're just there spreading magic. That's the yoga story.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Yes. So if you look at the yoga world, how do you think that people can benefit from yoga, but not only like for their physical body? Is there any deeper connection? Is there any connection to finding who we are deeper on, or what are we meant to do here in this world?
Definitely. 1,000% yes. In so many ways, yoga works beyond the physical body. I think yoga teaches us to be more patient because, well, many reasons. You show up every day, you trust the process, you trust your practice, and you're patient. You know, you might get inspired and want to do some more advanced asanas. I've certainly been there, like where I see someone doing like a crazy back bend. I'm like, I want to do that, but maybe my body isn't totally there yet, you know, and I could push, but we only have one body and we have to respect it. So it's like learning to listen to yourself and respect your boundaries and your limits is totally one major thing that you can learn from yoga, and to be compassionate with yourself, to be gentle with yourself, to also know what you need at any given moment. Like some days you need more of like a fiery flow. You want to use your energy. You want to kind of like fan your flame. And then other days you're really feeling depleted. You want to like feel grounded and held. So maybe you do a yin yoga practice where you hold each pose for longer, and it's all about like releasing tension, myofascial release, like taking care of your body in a more gentle way. So just getting to know yourself and knowing what you need at any moment is really important thing to learn from
So
yoga. And also how to relate to others, how to be a better listener. I feel like it makes you a better listener, both to yourself, your own body, but also to others. Like in yoga class, we do listening.
definitely listening games.
Yeah, we do
What do you mean?
like we would do this thing called authentic relating games, where this was in my 200-hour yoga teacher training in Austin. Basically, we'd get paired up or put into groups of 3, and then one person would talk, and they would be the talker, and the other person would be the listener. And basically, the listener's goal is just they don't talk at all during the talker's turn. If they have any questions, they keep them and wait until after. There's like a timer, so the talker talks for like a minute, and then the timer goes off. The listener can then ask questions for a minute and then have like a back and forth, or maybe longer than a minute, and then they reflect on it together and then switch. And it's such a good practice because I think oftentimes in conversation, especially like if we're getting excited, maybe we want to butt in like, oh yeah, like, enthusiastically, and it comes from a good place, but ultimately that gets in the way of listening. But by slowing down and quieting, like embracing quiet, we become better listeners. Embracing quiet is so essential to like becoming a better listener to yourself, because that's when our true nature speaks, is in those quiet moments. And that's why meditation is so wonderful. And meditation can be anything. So even taking a quiet walk with no music, allows your consciousness to come through and say stuff that maybe you were suppressing or not allowing consciously or unconsciously.
I want
Wonderful.
people, I want our listeners also to pay attention to something that you say about listening, the listening game. I think it's something that is important because in today's world, we are get triggered from so many things. Our phone is around us, music, screens all around, TV, computer, work. There are so many things that we experience at the same moment, and it can take our presence feeling away. And I think that also when we meet people, sometimes many people were not present at the moment. And I think the best example for that is when if you meet someone and you ask for the name. I think many people experience. Many people tell me that they don't remember the name of the person they met. So they meet a person. They ask, "What's your name?" And then they forget the name of the person they meet. So this is a simple thing that explain to us and show us how we're not really present at the moment. We're not really paying attention to what the person in front of us say or speak or shares. And we definitely have to bring it to our awareness that if we speak with someone, we have to pay attention to their words, to their we shouldn't focus on what we are about to say. We should focus on what are they sharing with us and be present in the moment. And I think it's a beautiful thing, beautiful game to practice listening, because it's a very important thing. Many people don't listen. And many people also, I work with people about how to overcome stage fright and improve communication skills. And many people focus on what they want to say instead of paying attention to the audience, paying attention to the people. They're focused too much. We can't perform, we can't present ourselves at our best when we're focused only on ourselves. We have to see the other people in front of us. We have to see the crowd. We have to see the reactions. We have to pay attention to what's going around us, so we can fit ourselves into the situation, connect to the same energy of the crowd that we have, connect to the same energy that flows around, and lead to an energy that we want to be around. So it's a beautiful thing that you say. You mentioned a lot of beautiful things there. So it's very good. So I want to go a little bit into a purposeful talk. So what do you think is your purpose in life? And I know it's a deep question.
Yeah.
It's a deep question. But what do you
My
think?
immediate reaction was just like,
Yeah.
oh.
I know it's a deep question, but we're gonna dive deeper. So
Sure.
what do you think is your purposeful path? So how through yoga you fulfill your purpose? Because when you do something that you enjoy, that you like, that you want to keep doing it, that helps other people. So the idea of purpose is that we do something that we enjoy and it helps other people. It's something that we have a certain skill, something that we do very well, that when we do it, other people change their state. They feel better. They become a better person. So how do you think that yoga connects to your purpose? And do you think that people change after experiencing yoga, their state of mind, their feeling, they become they change their state after you work with them on yoga?
Totally. Oh my gosh. So to answer your first question, I think my purpose in life is to cultivate community. Genuinely, I think that's what I want most in life to do, to accomplish, is to create community, however that may look, whether that's, you know, creating groups or, but really my long-term dream in the physical realm is like to have a space of my own that I can like lead classes in and events and, you know, have a cafe, just a spot, a hub for connection. That's my dream. My purpose is to, yeah, create just like a space for to make space for connection.
And how yoga connects to that part
Yeah.
in your life, to the purpose?
So I think, you know, when we go out into the world, especially like those of us that live in big cities, y'all understand, you know, at a certain point, you have to kind of close off your energy just to get through the day, just to get through life. Like there's so much stimulation both around us, like on the street, on our phones, like so many different things grabbing for our attention that we feel out of control of our attention and like we can't connect because we just have to like block out and discern. Like trying to focus takes so much. And yoga gives us it slows everything down. Like we slow down our breathing, we slow down our movements, we slow down our mind. And in turn that slows down everything around us. It allows us to take in more, like more data of what's around us and what's within us. And that's so empowering, not just on an individual level, but especially on a community level, because it makes us better listeners. It makes us able to show up more for the people around us, for the people we love, for everyone that we cross paths with and relate to. Like we can just hold space for them if we're practicing yoga in our personal lives. Like we can be a safe space for others. And that feels like purpose to me. Is like beyond like, yeah, I want to own my own studio one day, but my purpose is to be a safe space to others. And I feel like that is something that I can tap into and own every single day, no matter what my physical reality is. Like that's so empowering to me.
I loved how you said that yoga is slowing down our movement, slowing down. It's about slowing down. And when we slow down, I think people always in a rush. Those days, people rushing somewhere, people rush to their work, people rush to finish their job, people in a rush sometimes, many times to nowhere.
Yep.
They're just in a rush. So I think slowing down and listen more to ourselves, to our body, to our mind, to our soul, to our purpose will help us see more of the world around us, help us see the people around us. We miss sometimes so many people around us, so many connections, so many opportunities because of complaints, because we focus on too much on ourselves and not on our surrounding. We're not present. And I think it's a beautiful thing that you said, to slow down and pay attention to our surrounding, to our world from a different perspective, from a more relaxed, calm, focused perspective. So it's
Definitely.
beautiful.
Yeah.
So if we go and summarize our talk today, so we know you've been to Bali. You did your certification, you practiced. I want to hear a little bit shortly. I want to hear a little bit about Bali. What did you do there? What does it mean to go through all of those hours of training? How was Bali? How does it look like? Share with us a little bit about this experience.
Of course. So I got back a few weeks ago from Bali, Indonesia, and I did my 300-hour yoga teacher training there in a month-long intensive. So what that looks like is every morning we wake up at 5 in the morning, and we are learning from that point until about 7 in the evening. I'll just go through the schedule to start out. I was in Ubud, Bali, which is like the spiritual, cultural capital of the island. And as soon as I arrived, I felt like this place is very special. It's the Hindu island. Like Indonesia is Muslim, but Bali is Hindu. And so they have offerings to the gods and goddesses. There's 108 gods in Hinduism. And so that's why we do 108 sun salutations, which I got to do as part of the program. But yes, there's so much I want to say about this program. I did it at Bali Yoga School in Ubud, and I loved my experience. So we started every morning, 5 in the morning wake up. I had a roommate too who made the experience very special. Tamila, shout out to you. Gonna send you this podcast, and so everyone will know I really love Camila. She made the experience. She made waking up at 5 a.m. like beautiful, which it is beautiful. It's truly a gift to wake up in the morning because it's never for certain. That's something one of my teachers at yoga school would say all the time. Like, we go to sleep eagerly, not even knowing if we're going to wake up. It's like the closest thing we get to death, and we love it. And we always talk about death in very like profound ways and also very light ways. She would like laugh at death on the regular. That was Shanti Ji. She taught our pranayama class and our meditation class and our philosophy class. And she lived in an ashram for 5 years, like as a monk, sleeping on like wood, sleeping on the floor and not having any of the creature comforts we have. So anytime anyone would complain, she would be like, in the ashram, like, we didn't have this, and it was good. It was wonderful. Yeah. She's so hard. But this was like a hard program for us cushy Western folk. We wake up, we do shat karma, which is like ritual purification. And the shat karma we specifically did was called jalaneti, where you basically pour hot salt water in one nostril, and then it goes through and it drains out the other nostril. And so that clears your sinuses. There's also one where we did a cup of hot water with salt in it, and we would drink it through our nose, catch it in our mouth, and then spit it out. And that cleans it even deeper, but it's much more difficult.
I can't hear it without crying.
Crying is part of it. It is totally natural if your eyes water. Another shat karma we did, they used to do the rubber string one where you thread a rubber string through all the way, but then they stopped doing it because people complained too much. But anyways, we started every morning by doing that, and a big reason we do that is to prepare for pranayama, which is the breath work. You just want to have clear nostrils to do that to your fullest capacity. And then we'd have an hour of pranayama. But before pranayama, like I said in the 8 limbs of yoga, you have to prepare the body to do pranayama. So Shanti taught us this like series of movements that basically move all the like air that's trapped in your joints. So you like clench your toes and release clench and do that 10 times. And then you basically go up the body from like your toes and go through all your joints, and you do neck circles.
So there is like there is a whole preparation for that.
Yes, just to do
Prepare your body into yoga. Wow.
I learned so much, and I just like, that's why I'm so excited to be in Houston now, like with all this knowledge of practices like that truly I felt the benefits of firsthand, and just I'm so eager to share. Like I'm overflowing with it, you know. But our days were long. We did Ashtanga every single day, um, which I could explain that too, but we did Hatha, Vinyasa, Ashtanga, Pranayama, meditation, Ayurveda, anatomy, and I think that's it. We did a few ritual purifications as well. Like there's a water temple in Bali. It's like very normal to go to these like water temples and get cleansed. I sewed my bracelet on after you do the ritual cleansing. They like tie this on and you're not supposed to take it off. So mine's still on. Guess I'm still like purified. But yeah, it was a month long
Wow.
of doing the same thing every single day, but every day felt different. And I went in with this mindset of just like not accept everything you hear, obviously, but like be open to trying everything, listening to everything, like taking in the teacher's teachings and then using my discernments, like what do I want to embrace, what do I leave behind, kind of deal. But that's what I was on
Beautiful.
the past month.
Beautiful. Sounds like an amazing experience. So
sure.
so if we summarize our talk here, and we learned so much from you. We learned about what is yoga. We learned about how your path from first getting to know yoga in first or second grade, and starting from there, explore more, dive deeper, how it helped you with physical pain of yours, and you started learning more of how to become a yoga teacher, and you did training and you started to teach, and now you have your own practice teaching of yoga, and you teach people this way of life, and it's amazing. And there's so many things about you that happened in your life that led you to this specific moment in your life. And we can see that when we put effort and explore more of our passions, I believe that we like to do certain things more than others for a reason, because we have certain skills. We were born in a certain way to bring a part of ourselves in this world, to shine ourselves out there. Because when we shine who we really are, who we're born to be, we shine on people, and people shine back, and that's how we grow and become better. So I think it is beautiful to see your path into becoming who you are today, doing all of those great things that you're doing, and it's beautiful to see it. I want you to share with us maybe a quick tip for our listeners from your life perspective, from yoga, for whatever you feel like, of how our listeners can help themselves live their best selves and become the person they were born to be.
I think my advice to the listeners would be to take intentional quiet time with themselves, to take inspired action every single day towards their goals, and to also make sure they're incorporating that quiet time as well, so that they can listen to that inner voice. And because that inner voice can tell you maybe the goals you're working towards with all your energy, pouring so much energy into, but maybe you're not getting anywhere. Maybe you're not getting anywhere because those goals aren't aligned with you anymore, because it's not what you truly want. And your subconscious knows that, and so it's causing you to undermine yourself. And you would never know if you didn't take the quiet time to listen. So meditate.
That's great.
Meditate and take inspired action and embrace slowing down. That's my advice. And it's my advice to myself too. I'm learning every day because student first. But yeah.
Student first. We take it. We are all student first. We learn. We're eager to learn, grow, develop. Yes, that's amazing. That's beautiful. So I want to thank you for being with us here today and sharing your insights and inspire us with your beautiful story, life story, how your passion became your business and became your life work. And it's beautiful to see it. So thank you so much for being with us on the show and inspire us. Don't forget, go on Instagram. Say again your Instagram so we make sure it's...
Oh yeah. Okay, my Instagram is __ Analia. ANALIA. So follow me.
Perfect.
And I'll post
follow
classes.
Analia over there.
We'll all practice together. It'll be cute.
Yes, and now you said you have some online things that you're going to do soon. So
I just
prepare to...
space actually. So a big perk of this recent move.
You're just moving to a different city and you're already starting.
Yeah, so
starting quick. Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah, I've been
love
here
it.
2 days.
Go right into business.
Yeah, but also embracing the slow life. Like keep it moving, inspired action forward, but also embrace the slow life.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for being on the show. You are amazing inspiration for all of us here. Thank you for sharing your story.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Hopefully I'll see you soon. Yeah.
Hopefully I'll see you soon too. You're always welcome in Texas. So
same here in Florida.
See you later.
See you later. Thank you.